Yeah, yo, what's going on, guys? Seth Spartan here, guys. We are back today with another hot topic, hot video to discuss. Today, we're going to be talking about why steroid cycles are useless, completely useless. I know that some people are going to be probably pretty triggered from the things I'm about to share with you, about to say here. But I ask you guys, stick along for the ride. Listen to what I'm saying, watch the video, and I guarantee you will be glad you did. Let's get into this. But first, let's show you guys real quick the kind of shape we are in right now. Pretty lean, looking good, and in prep. All right, I'm going to break this down into a couple quick sections, hammer through this so you guys can get exactly what I am trying to pass on to you as far as information-wise. So number one, I'm going to explain why they're useless in terms of results, or why they're worthless in terms of results comparatively. And I'm also going to explain the negative health effects from cycling. And I'm going to give you guys a third and better option should you want to do that. Again, guys, do everything safely, legally, under doctor supervision, abiding by the laws of whatever country you are in. Having said all that, guys, let's get into number one. Why, from a results standpoint, cycling, steroid cycles are worthless, or pretty close to worthless. Let's get into this. So, steroid cycles. What is a cycle? For those of you that are not super familiar, I'm just going to lay it out super easy for you guys. A steroid cycle is basically just this. You go from either a low dose cruise, whatever, this varies depending on, if you're a professional, if you're, depending on what sport, bodybuilding, whatever you're doing, fitness, athletics. But typically a cycle is either when you cycle on and off, you're either going to be natural on your off cycle, or you're going to be on testosterone replacement, or an off cycle for a lot of pro bodybuilders is like 500 milligrams a week. I would not consider that off, but they do, so I will leave that to them. Having said that, the on part of the cycle is going to be what? Is going to be where they are using large amounts of testosterone, anabolic steroids, growth hormone, insulin, whatever they're doing. This is where they are pushing the envelope as far as anabolic steroids. So now that we've defined what a cycle is, why are cycles worthless or pretty close to worthless? All right, guys, listen up. Here's the problem with cycles. And the best comparison I can honestly give you guys, as somebody who's been in this space, bodybuilding, fitness, athletics, who's coached people, who's been here a very long time, and has a lot of experience, again, comparing to other people, this is the truth of the matter. Listen up. Steroid cycles are practically worthless because of what? Stimulation and loss. What do I mean by that? Let's take training, for example. Training is a great comparison. Let's say you go to the gym and you're doing bodybuilding workouts, squat, bench, deadlift, biceps, whatever. You're exerting a stimulus. The stimulus is neurological as well as muscle damage. Your body repairs it to get stronger, bigger muscles, etc., right? We understand that. Once you take away the stimulus, what's going to happen? You're going to go back to pretty much normal, pretty much baseline, besides with the exception of, you're going to have more nucleus inside your muscle tissue. You might have some hyperplasia, some little bit of permanent gains, but in terms of visuals, a lot of that's going to go away, okay? A lot of that's going to go away. If you look at if you take people like Schwarzenegger, these other bodybuilders, they keep a little bit, but I'm going to say 90% of everything. Okay, this is if you're natural, TRT, enhanced, doesn't matter. I'm giving a training comparison first so you guys can clutch what I'm saying. So if you go to the gym, you train, you do bodybuilding training, okay, and you completely stop, you build all this muscle and then you stop, 90% of all that is going to be gone, okay, with the exceptions I gave of nucleus, growth, and some hyperplasia. But 90% of everything is going to be gone. It's the same exact way with what? With anabolic steroids and with growth hormone and everything else, performance enhancing drugs, okay? So what people don't understand this, okay? So cycling, anabolic steroid cycling is pretty much what I'm going to call Stone Age, okay? That's Stone Age information. It's bad information. And that's why a lot of pros and a lot of whether it's bodybuilding, fitness, athletics, why they've moved on from cycling in the first place. Okay, a lot of people have realized this, but this cycling idea is pretty much, that's Stone Age information. Okay, in terms of bodybuilding. So, like I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make is in terms of results and stimulation. And the same thing I expressed just to you guys right now with training, guess what? It's the same thing with anabolic steroids. When you remove the compounds, guess what? Like 90% of that is you're going to go back to baseline. You're going to go back to where you were before. You might have, not might, but most likely you'll have more nucleuses inside your muscle cells. And guess what else? You're going to have some hyperplasia, right? But 90%, when you stop, doesn't matter how big of a cycle, doesn't matter what you're doing. Oh, I'm going to try to you're not keeping your gains. 90% of everything you've done is going to go back to wherever you're going to go backwards, okay? It's the same thing with training, like I explained. I want you guys to grasp this. So when you hear people, oh, I'm going to do a cycle of test and Anavar, test and Anadrol, and then I'm going to go back to natural or TRT. Guess what? You're going to slowly lose all of that progress, okay? Because the stimulation is not there, not just on the androgen receptor, but also, the nervous system and everything else, okay? So the gains you make, size, strength, they're going to go back about 90%, okay? And I can speak this from experience, all right? So we've touched on this. I'm going to give a solution, you guys stick around, okay? Stick around for the rest of the video. I'm going to give a solution. I've explained why anabolic steroid cycling is pretty much worthless comparatively. And I'm going to give a solution here in a second, all right, to what you guys should do if you want to do that. Again, do everything safely, legally, under doctor supervision. But I'm going to give you guys a solution in just a second. Real quick, I'm going to touch on the health problems, the health negatives with what? Steroid cycling, okay? So I got to talk about that. So real quick, stick around for 1 minute, and then I'll give you guys a solution like I just promised. All right, guys, what is the problem? What's the problem with anabolic steroid cycles? The problem is this. The greater, I'll just lay this out for you guys. Okay, here's your cruise. Here's your blast. Here's your cruise. So it's looking like this, right? All right, you got the hills, you got the valleys, you got the peak and the troughs, okay? So here's the issue. Now this is what it looks like cycling. Now let's say you weren't gonna blast, you weren't gonna cruise, you weren't gonna cycle. Let's say you just took the same dosage, with no spikes, no valleys, right? That's going to be a lot easier on your body, even though the total dosage, over like the course of a year is the same. That's going to be a lot easier on the body and a lot less side effects and a lot less problems, even though it's the same dosage comparatively for the length of time. What am I talking about? Anytime you go and you in terms of blasting and cruising, cycling, whatever, in terms of anytime you say I'm just going to slam my body full of this stuff, right? Whether it's test, Anadrol, I don't care, growth hormone. Anytime you slam all these compounds and you're trying to get growth and create an effect, what's going to happen? Not just are you going to have, some positive stimulus, the positive effects that you want, but you're going to have a lot of negatives, and more than if you were to do it straight across like I was just describing to you guys. Now, what do I mean by this? What do I mean? Put it this way. If you drink, let's take a great example, because alcohol is a huge problem here in the States, okay? Let's say you drink, you binge, you're binge drinking, okay? You binge drink a certain amount once a week. You're going to cause a lot of damage right away on liver and other internal organs, okay? But if you were to take that same amount that you would binge drink on the weekends, or on Saturday, Sunday, whatever, and you were to split that up evenly across the week, you're going to have a lot less damage. Why? A lot less shock to the body, a lot less dead cells, and really a lot less stress on the body too, because again, alcohol is a toxin. Go look that up if you don't believe me. So I'm not telling you guys what to do with your life. I'm just giving a comparative example that people can understand. And that is why, too, in terms of medicines in the pharma industry, why they try to give people space out dosing, or they try to give them a really even keel, not just for the half-life and also to be able to use a lower amount, but to mitigate side effects. Okay, so we're talking about stress on the body, we're talking about shock, and we're talking about damage in terms of side effects. And this goes for pretty much all medication that is at all toxic. Okay, so it's the same thing with anabolic steroids. Okay, it's the same thing. If you say I'm going to blast and cruise or cycle, you're going to cycle, boom, boom. Guess what? You're causing damage a lot faster than if you were to take an even keel dosage across the year, okay, and split that. So it's really the stress, the shock, and the cellular damage. What am I talking about? The biggest problem with anabolic steroids, forgetting orals in the liver and all that, the biggest problems are what? Thickening of the heart tissue, causing heart dysfunction like I had, and I talk about this. I talk about the truth about anabolic steroids. Go watch that video if you want all that information. The second problem is plaque buildup in the arteries, also known as atherosclerosis. Okay, and that's pretty much caused mainly by increase in blood pressure, huge spike in cholesterol levels, these two combined, and there's some other factors, but that's pretty much what you guys need to know is that, and those are the big two, but the other side effects, large side effects, are also included. Having said all that, let's move on to what you guys are here for, and I'll finish out the video. I made this longer than I wanted to, but that's okay. I'd rather give you guys, again, more information than less. So let's finish out with this, guys. What is the best thing to do instead of cycling, okay? Both for results and both for health. And here's the punchline. Here's the answer of this entire video. I'm not telling you guys to use anabolic steroids, whether they're legal, whether they're illegal in your country, whatever country you live in, whether you have a script or not. I'm against anabolic steroid use, and for good reason, especially because of what's happened in my life. Go watch my video, Anabolic Steroids, The Truth. If you want to really know some serious and also just honestly the truth about anabolic steroids, go watch that video. Having said all of that, the punchline is this, guys. Honestly, listen to me here. Listen to what I'm saying. The punchline is this. Cycling does a lot of damage. And if you're going to use, I'm not telling you to, I'm not telling you to do whatever, but if you decide to use anabolic steroids and or large amounts of testosterone, whatever, it is better for you over let's take the course of a year, the time frame of a year, it's better for you to use a lower, consistent dose of whatever you're putting in your body versus these boom, 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 whether it's cycling or blasting and cruising in terms of damage that you're doing to your body, whether that's thickening of a heart wall, whether that's plaque buildup in the arteries, whether that is, any other side effects from anabolics, and also in terms of results. Okay, results are going to be, and honestly, I think results are, from somebody who's done cycling, I've had prescriptions for, okay, we'll leave that out for now. I've talked about this already. But here's the thing is that in terms of results, in my opinion and from experience, you're going to get a lot better results. Let's say over the course of the year, you have X amount you're going to use, you're going to have a lot better results not cycling or blasting and cruising. You're going to have a lot better results taking even keel dosage and letting your body just soak that up, okay? It is a myth. I'll tell you guys right to your face right now, it is a myth that you need to blast with high amounts to build more muscle. No, you'd be better off taking a lower amount and just continually, okay? No cycle, no blast, no cruise, just take continually and monitor from there. Guys, I'm Seth Spartan. Stay safe, stay healthy. And for you guys that don't know, we are currently doing about 230 milligrams of testosterone cypionate for testosterone replacement right now. I talk about everything. Go watch my video, My Full Cycle, okay, Road to Pro, where you find out it's really not a cycle. I'm just doing testosterone and HGH replacement to the top of the range. Guys, again, stay safe, stay healthy, and we are out of here. Hopefully you guys love the video. Praise God, and we'll see you soon.